أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب الله العالمين أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Hello everyone, welcome to the 12th week of Tadabbur on the Quran. We are at the second level. Based on our schedule, we decided to have 2 semesters in this level, each semester 12 weeks. And so this week is the last week of our first semester in the second level. Then we're going to have 2 weeks as a break in between these 2 semesters. We're not going to be separated from Quran, obviously. It's just 2 weeks for you to review these chapters. And it's also a good time for me to work on the other chapters that we are going to have at the second semester. So this is the last week of this semester. Our next class will be on, I think, May 17th, but I will send you the accurate time and date and through the email and also in the WhatsApp group. So this week we're gonna have Surah Al-Mursalāt, chapter 77, verses 29 to 50. We had verses 1 to 28 last week, and it wasn't an online class. So for that, I ask you if you have any question about that week, we can cover it now. One of your friends asked a good question, and her question was this: Mursalāt at the first. Let's go to the slides actually. Mursalāt at the first verse is can it be interpreted as the prophets or not? I would say no, we cannot interpret it as the prophet because of the rest of this paragraph and based on the verses that is after that. For example, second verse, there is fa at the beginning of it, and fa always connect what is after that to what is before that. And it says, then those who hasten rapidly, like the storm. And it's describing asfa means something that moves very fast, very quick, like the storms and like the winds. And also mursal is different from Rasul. In Quran, when God wants to talk about the prophets, they are mentioned as Rasul. But Mursal or again, Rasul is common for the angel. For example, إنه لقول رسول كريم. I think it's in Surah Infitar. No, it's in Takvir. It's in Surah Takvir that إنه لقول رسول كريم. That Rasul is not the prophet. It's the angel Jibril, which we will talk about it. It's in this level. It's at the end of this level. So Mursal here is the angel. It's not the prophet. First, based on the verses that is after that, and it's describing that how they are bringing and delivering those message to the prophet. For example, فَالْمُلْقِيَاتِ ذِكْرًا. إلقاء, which means delivering by transforming those, like it's a light that they transform it into words to the prophet. Ilqa is not something that the prophet did for us. The prophet explain or recite the verses for us. He didn't do the ilqa in this way. Someone in Google Meet, the microphone is on. Would you please mute your microphone? Thank you. So because of that, Mursal is angel. And what is after this, like in verse 11, it says, وَإِذَا الرُّسُلُ أُقِّتَتْ. This is the time for the messenger. The Rasul is the plural of the Rasul, the messengers. All of them, there will be a time for them in the day of judgment that they will come and they testify about their nation. Still someone in Google Meet, and your microphone is on. Would you please mute your microphone? Thank you. So was this clear enough?
Yes, thank you, sister.
Of course. So let's have a review on what we had last week. As I explained, this chapter, I believe it has four paragraphs. The first paragraph, which is verses 1 to 15, we can have a quick review on it. God started by swearing to the emissaries, Mursalāt, which means those who you sent them to do a specific mission, like the angels. And why do I say angel? Based on the verses after that, that they are hastened rapidly like the storm, and they deliver those message, and they have to open it, convert it, or transform it from the nature that it's light, that to be converted into words and verses and chapters. فالفارقات فرقا, they divide them, and they deliver it as a reminder. They deliver it to the prophet, and then the prophet recite it for us. And then after these swears, God emphasized on an important fact. What is that fact? That whatever that you are promised will happen for sure. And God is emphasizing on one important fact, that God's promises will be fulfilled. But instead of determining a specific time for God's promises fulfillment, he described the situation that it's gonna happen. He described that day through several conditional clauses, and he told us that when all of these things happen, then you'll be judged, and that is the day of separation. You'll be divided, you'll be separated into two major groups, and woe to those who deny that day. And which is in verse 15, and you will see that this verse is repeated several times during this chapter. In the first paragraph, God emphasized on the certainty of the Qur'an's promises, and he told us that they will happen for sure on the day of separation, but I'm not gonna determine a specific date or a specific time for it. And then God brought some say evidence to prove some point. Why? Because maybe among those people who deny the day of judgment, the day of separation, there might be some questions in their mind, and God kindly provided some evidence to prove his power, to prove that it's not the first time that I am saying this stuff, and this is not the first time that a prophet is talking to you about the day of judgment. He brought some evidence to prove that the day of judgment will happen. The first thing that he provided was the first evidence that he provided was about the annihilation that happened to the earlier nations. And God said that this is my custom, this is God's tradition, that I will punish deniers and criminals. And this is not the first time that a prophet came to you and talked to you and told you that you will be punished if you deny God's message, or like there will be a day of judgment. This is not a new thing. And I sent other prophets, and they talked to people the same stuff, and they denied, and I punished them. And it's easy for me to do that again. And woe on that day to the deniers. Again, that sentence is repeated here. And then the other evidence that God provided was about his power, that he talked about our creation, that we were created from nothing and from a worthless drop, and as he was able to create us at the first time, of course, he is able to recreate us. And then the other evidence that he provided was his power and his wisdom and his kindness. And he described this world and the earth, and like the mountains and the water that he provided for us. He described this stuff to remind us that I have this power to create all of these magnificent things, and also I am very kind to you. I care about you, and I provide everything for you that you need on this earth. I provide, and I care about all of those fine details also. So, with seeing all of these things, do you still think that I don't have enough power to recreate you, or do you think that God is not wise to have a day of judgment and He just created us with no reason, and we will be like gone after we are dead, like we will be completely destroyed and there is no life after this? So based on God's power and His wisdom and His kindness, of course there should be a life after this life. We have to see the result of our deeds. If we had a good deeds, if somebody did something wrong, they have to be punished. If they bother the other people, if they ignore the human rights about the others, if actually they did terrible stuff about the others, they have to be punished, because God is kind to His creatures, and of course He will punish those people who were bad to people. So these are all evidence that God provided in this paragraph to tell us that the divine promises that God told us in the Quran will be fulfilled one day. And then we reach to the third paragraph. انطلقوا إلى ما كنتم به تكذبون. They will be told, proceed to that which you used to deny. Why did I say that this is the beginning of the third paragraph? Because this is a picture about the day of judgment. God is describing that situation, and through this description, He is trying to warn us. He is taking us directly to that situation and describing that situation for us to warn us. So, this is from verse 29 to verse 44 or 45. It's like all about that life and the day of separation, and how is that situation. It's not anymore in this life. It's not even it's not anymore talking about the evidence, talking about God's power, or like what uh, actually um telling them that you have two choices to choose one of these stuff. No, it's not anymore about this stuff. It's just describing that situation, and it's not in this life. It's all about the situation on the other life. So انطلقوا إلى ما كنتم به تكذبون. Proceed to that which you used to deny. What was that thing that they deny? We usually say that they deny the day of separation, but the point is, in the day of separation, they were told that you will be punished if you do something wrong, and also you will be rewarded if you do good things. The point is, they usually have trouble with the first one, with the punishment on that life, and with the hellfire. That's the main thing that they deny. They actually believe that even if there is gonna be another life, God is not gonna punish us. He is kind, and He's gonna forgive us. And as He gave everything to us in this life, we will have a nice life on the other life also, and this stuff. So the main thing that usually people have problem with it is those warnings, is the hellfire. And when the prophets told them that you're gonna be punished on the other life, that is the main thing that they denied. That is the main thing that they hated to hear. So they tried to actually deny that punishment. Now God is telling them that proceed to that which you used to deny. And we are in that situation now, and God is describing that situation, and this is a picture about that life. And they will be told, the group of denier, they will be told, proceed to that which you used to deny. It's very painful verses. From this verse, I invite you to look and listen to these verses through your heart. And imagine it. This is what God is doing in this paragraph. God is trying to provide a picture for us, and we have to close our eyes and think about it and be connected to these verses through our heart. That it's very painful. There is no way to go back. There is no way to run away from this situation. And they will be told that you have to, they will be told that you have to go ahead, go to what you denied. This is the hellfire that you used to deny. انطلقوا إلى ظل ذي ثلاث شعب. Proceed to a shadow having three branches. ذي ثلاث شعب, ذي ثلاث شعب, a shadow, that shadow, it's not a normal shadow like the shadow that we have in this life. In this world, shadows are two-dimensional and they are flat, and they are not something that we can refer to them as a something like an existence. These are depend on the, if you are in front of a light, then your shadow is on the ground. This is a shadow in this life, but this shadow that God is describing is actually a different shadow, and it has a three dimension. It means that it has a volume. This is actually the hellfire. Why do I say that it's hellfire? Based on the other verses which is after this, that when God is describing dhil or shadow, we will see that it's actually the hellfire, and it's a volume, and it's dark. And based on a quote from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the hellfire is black. Unlike our normal imagination about the hellfire, that it should be red or yellow or this stuff, no, it's black. And based on the quote of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the angels blow on it for several thousand years, then for several thousand years, then it became yellow, and then it became red, and then the color changed until it became black. And the hellfire is black, and it's like God is describing it like a shadow. It's a actually shadow, that it's a three-dimensional or three branches. ثلاث شعب, not as the branches of the tree, because شعب by itself means branches. If I want to translate it in our say understanding in these years, I have to say three-dimensional. We say three-dimensional. لا ذليلا ولا يغني من اللهب. If I said that is, it says del, it's a shadow, you shouldn't think that it's gonna be cool place and it's gonna, you can have a rest under it. No, it's not like that kind of a shadow. It's a shadow that it's not cool, no cool shade, and availing not against the flame. So it's not a normal shadow by itself. It's not cool at all, and it cannot protect you against flame. إنها ترمي بشرر كالقصر. Indeed, it throws a spark as huge as castle. So it's this shadow or this black fire. It's throwing sparks, and actually those sparks are that huge that it's like a castle. So it's a huge shadow. That's only the spark that it throws is like a shadow that big. This castle here, Kalqas, castle or like palaces, it's like metaphorically, it's reminding them about those palace or those castles that they have in this life. Like you have huge castle and you only care about having nice castle or nice houses and this stuff, but you have to know that on that day, you'll be proceed to a huge fire that it has three dimension, and the sparks of that fire is as huge as a castle. And that and those spark كأنه جمالة صفر. as if they are like yellow camels. Jamalatun Sofr is about the color, that it's a yellowish golden color of the camels. God is saying that those sparks that is throwing from that shadow, from that fire, has a color which is like a yellowish and golden color. So actually our imagination of a fire is usually something like a yellowish or golden color, but God is saying that the fire by itself is black, and only those sparks are yellowish or golden, and those spark by itself is very huge. So God described this zil or shadow in these verses, and then it says, Wailun yawmazin lil mukazzibin. Again, woe on that day to the denier. So it was a picture. It was a picture to warn people, to wake them up that you're going to be in this difficult situation, that there isn't even a shadow for you. Even the shadow by itself is fire. Even that shadow, which you can see it there, it's not even a shadow, and that is the fire. And then this description is continuous still, is still continuing. هذا يوم لا ينطقون. This is a day they will not speak. In this situation, they have no chance to talk, and they cannot talk, they cannot bring any excuse. Who are what this is actually referring to, the day of separation. Again, هذا يوم, this refers to day of separation. ولا يؤذن لهم فيعتذرون. Nor will it be permitted for them to make an excuse. Them, it's actually those disbelievers and deniers who deny the fulfillment of God's promises. They are not allowed to talk. They cannot bring any excuse. وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Woe on that day to the deniers. Again, this verse is repeated here to remind us that you have to connect all of these warnings and all of these verses to the main verse in the first paragraph, that we are still talking about the day of separation, and there are a group of people that they deny the fulfillment of that promise. They believe that it's not gonna happen, but it's gonna happen, and on that situation they cannot speak, they cannot bring any excuse. هذا يوم الفصل جمعناكم والأولين. This is the day of separation. We gathered you along with the earlier nations. So this again refers to Yawm al-Fasl, which they are still trying to deny it. God is saying that this day will happen for sure, and we gather you along with the earlier nation. If they died 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, it doesn't matter. We will gather all of you. فإن كان لكم كيد فكيدون. فإن كان لكم which is again those group of deniers. God is talking to them that if you have any plan, if you can protect yourself, if there is someone who can help you, you can call them to come and help you. Anything that you can do it. You can protect yourself. Is there anything that you can do? Of course, there is nothing. So it says, so if you have a plan, then plan against me. You cannot do anything against God's plan and against God's punishment, and you have no plan. No one can help you. Wailun yawmazin lil mukazzibin. Woe on that day to the deniers. Again, there is this part is repeated again, and it says that you have to uh you have to connect these verses again to the first paragraph. We are still talking about the deniers. إن المتقين في ظلال وعيون. On the other side, as we said, there is the day of separation. There will be a day of separation. One group God described them from verses 29 to 40, what is going to be their situation, and provide a picture about their life on that situation. And on the other side, day of separation, two major groups. Who are the other groups and what is their situation, how they're going to be? إن المتقين في ظلال وعيون. Indeed, the righteous will be among shades and springs. So on the other side, there is also shades, but there is a huge difference between these two shades. One of them was actually a three-dimensional shade, and it was actually the hellfire, which is black, and there is no rest in it, there is no cool place in it. And this shade is a nice place that they are resting in it, and they will be rewarded in such a garden with all of those shades, with those nice places, with the springs. And muttaqin, as I said, these are the opposite group, the opposite group to the deniers. وَفَوَاكِهَ مِمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ, and fruits from whatever they desire, whatever that they like, it will be provided for them. كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا هَنِيئًا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. In this situation, they will be told, eat and drink joyfully for what you used to do. إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Indeed, this is how we reward the good doer. So these two verses is how God talked to them. Very different. Like with to the other group, they were told they will be told that proceed and go to the hellfire, but about this group, they will be told eat and drink joyfully for what you used to do. One important point here is this, that God describing them as the muttaqin or righteous, and also kuntum ta'malun, what you used to do. Or here at the end of the verse 44, it says good doers, muhsinin. It's all describing their deeds and what they did in this life. It's not only saying that they were believers. Being believers by itself is not enough. Like when we say they disbelieved or they denied, we were waiting to hear about the group who believed, like آمنوا. إن المؤمنين في ضلال وعيون, like those group who believed. But here God is describing them by their deeds, to kind of tell us that believing by itself is not enough. You have to do based on your beliefs. And if you believe in something, then there should be an output for it. Then you have to act based on your beliefs. So God is saying that if they believed and then they did based on their belief, they will be rewarded, and that is how God reward the good doers. وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Woe on that day to the deniers. Even in this situation that God is talking about the righteous and God is talking about the good doers, He repeated this verse again. Why? To remind us that this description is still connected to the first paragraph. And if I am describing the heaven and the rewards for the righteous, it's still for inviting them to be among the righteous, and it's kind of encouraging them, and all of course also for giving hope to the righteous and good doers. But it's still connected to the group of the deniers, and describing the heaven to tell them that there is going to be two sides. You have choice. You still have choice, and you can choose one of these, and you can be among the righteous and be rewarded like them. So this was the third paragraph. I will explain why did I divided the actually separated the verse 46 from this. But in this point, I have to mention that God sent down this paragraph, the third paragraph, to describe that life and the other life, and to kind of warn us, to tell us that this is the picture of your future. And the other life, This is a picture. It's a very brief picture. One side will be punished like this, the other side will be rewarded like this. And you are still in this life and you still have a choice. So at the third paragraph, it was warning to the deniers of the fulfillment of the divine promise by describing the destiny of two groups on the day of separation. On the day of separation, woe to the deniers of the divine promises. So now, verse 46. What is the reason that I separated from that one? That one was the third paragraph was only about the other life, and it was just describing that life. It was a picture about that life. It was like opening the door for us and let us to look at the other side. Okay, but now verse 46 is about this life, and God is talking to the disbelievers in this life and still warning them. There's still a time for them to choose the right path, and God is talking to them in this life and telling them that if I am giving you a short time, if you can eat and drink and enjoy your life, it's because I still want to give you a short time, but you have to know that this short time will be gone, and if you choose the other side, you'll be among the criminals and you'll be punished on the other life. So كلوا وتمتعوا إن قليلا إنكم مجرمون. Oh, disbelievers, eat and enjoy yourselves a little. Indeed, you are criminals. So God is describing them as criminals because they didn't stop only at the first step. The first step was just denying, and then they are criminal now. They went to the next step. And God is telling them that you can eat and enjoy in this life for a little time, but then you'll be punished because you choose the other side and you are criminals. وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Woe on that day to the deniers. Again, this verse is repeating to connect this, all of this, to their denial, because they denied the day of separation and now they are criminal. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ ارْكَعُوا لَا يَرْكَعُونَ. And when it is said to them, bow, they do not bow. Bow generally means showing you are humble and you are respectful and you are accepting God's order. A bow is not just in the prayer that you when you bow, and it's a part of the our daily prayer. It's not only that. It's actually it means when you accept all of those orders and you show that you are humble and you show respect and you show that you are following all of the orders. So in this verse, God is saying that whenever that we sent down an order, whenever that we told them to do something, they didn't listen to us and they didn't bow. It means they didn't accept those orders. They didn't listen. They didn't accept the message from God. وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Woe on that day to the deniers. Again, it's repeating. So these verses is still in this life. God is talking about their life here. فَبَأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَهُ مُؤْمِنُونَ. Then in what statement after it? It means after Quran, after this huge message, then after this message, in what statement will they believe? It means there is no hope that they can return to the good path without Quran. If Quran came to them and then they didn't listen to it, they rejected, then there is no hope for them. This was the only path that they could choose. They see it, they read it, they understand it, but then they rejected it. After Quran, it means above Quran. It means more than Quran. There is nothing can help them. The best thing that could help them was Quran, and then they rejected it, they deny it, so there is no hope that they can find the good path. So the fourth paragraph was warning to the criminals they cannot be guided anymore if they deny the guidance of the Quran. They are engaged in their worldly life, where they benefit from for a short time, and afterwards, um, and then after that, they will certainly taste the torment of the day of separation. So this paragraph also was warning, but it was talking to them that you have to know that this short time and this short life will be gone. And the only thing that can help you is the guidance of the Quran. And if you are looking for something more beneficial than Quran, higher than Quran, and better than Quran, you cannot find anything. And this is the only thing that can help you. So based on these four paragraphs, we can now connect them, find out the connection between them to understand the main goal of this chapter. The first paragraph was emphasized on the certainty of the Quran's promises that will occur on the day of separation. God swears by the angels and emphasized on a point that إنما توعدون لواقع, whatever that I promised you will happen for sure. Then after that, in the second paragraph, God provided some evidence to tell us that based on these evidence, you can see that I have power and I am wise, and also I did the same before to the earlier nations, so I can do it again. So it was actually several evidence to prove that the day of separation will happen. And then at the third paragraph, God provided a picture about the other life, from the other life, to warn us again. So this was a different warning. It was by providing a picture about that life. And then at the fourth paragraph, again, God keep warning to the criminals, but this time by telling them that this life is a short time life, and Quran is the only thing that can help you. And if you rejected Quran, you cannot find something higher than Quran or more valuable than Quran. Based on all of these things, we can say that the main goal of this chapter was warning and threatening those who deny the divine promises in the Quran. Warning and threatening in different ways. At the first paragraph, by bringing those conditional clouds that the sky will be like this, like the earth will be like this, the mountains will be like this, it was one method for warning, and then God provided different evidence at the second paragraph, and then warning by describing a picture about our life to groups on the other life, and then again warning by telling us that this life is a short time life and I am giving you this short time. Then and the only thing that you can have is Quran. So these are different methods of warning and threatening, but the main goal is for all of them is the same. Why God is using these different actually methods to warn people? Because each of them work for a specific sickness. Uh, if we do not believe in the day of judgment, there should be a sickness in our mind or in our heart. And these sicknesses are different. Each of them needs a specific treatment, very similar to the sicknesses that we have in this life. People get sick, and you may say that it's all flu, but it's not all flu. They are different type of the flu, and also people, their body is reacting differently. So each of them need a specific medicine. You cannot say that every time that if someone get flu, so you can use this medicine for all people. It's not true. Each of them needs a specific medicine because their body is different, and the reaction of their body is different, and the type of the virus that they have, the type of the sickness that they have is different. So they need different medicine, they need different treatments. That's why God is providing different ways of warning people. One time by conditional clause about the day of judgment, one time by providing the picture of two different groups, one time by telling us that your time in this life is very short. All of these things are different treatments, different medicines for different people, for different sicknesses. And there are many chapters in Quran that their main goal are just warning people and inviting them to believe in the day of judgment. Because this is one of the most important and most fundamental ideology in our life. It can change completely our life, the way that we look at the world, the way that we choose things, the way that we decide for different things in our life. This is all affected by our belief in the day of judgment or do not believe in the day of judgment. This is very fundamental, very important ideology in our life. And that's why Quran has so many chapters talking about this. They are not equal. Those chapters are all different, as I said, like different medicines. They're all different treatments, different medicines for different sicknesses. Although the main goal of all of them is inviting people to believe in the day of judgment. The title is very simple, but this simple title, this simple verse, is actually the most fundamental, one of the most fundamental ideologies in Islam and generally in our life and in the human life. And if people believe in it or don't believe in it, they will go to absolutely two different paths. So yeah, the main goal of this chapter also was warning and threatening those who deny the divine promises in the Quran. Whatever you are promised will happen on the day of separation. Before that day, believe in it and pay attention to the warnings in the Quran. If you neglect it, there will be no hope in your faith. If we neglect the day of separation, if we don't care about all of these warnings and all of these threatenings, then everything that we do in this life is just worthless, and there will be no hope for us uh, to be rescued on the other life. There is no help for us on the other life. And the only thing that we have is accepting this. The only thing that we have is this short time in this life. And we have to accept these warnings and believing it that it's going to happen. There is no reason to reject it. Those people who reject the day of separation, they never bring any reason. What is their reason to reject it and to deny it? Uh, there is no reason seriously for it. God has enough power to recreate us. Of course, He is wise and He didn't created us without any goal or any destination for us. And he has enough knowledge about whatever that we did in this life. He can see us, he can hear us, he recorded everything that we did in our life, and he is able to actually record everything. And yeah, like the computer that they have a limited uh, memory, that they cannot have more than a specific data in it. You shouldn't be worried about this. That God talked about it in the Surah Al-Tariq. You shouldn't be worried about the information and about saving and recording all of your data. I can save all of the data. Don't worry. I can record all of the things that you did. So in this verse, which in this chapter, which was, I believe it was a really heavy chapter, specifically the first paragraph, that how God described the move of the angels, that how they brought those messages and how they opened those lights and divided it into words and verses. It's a really heavy chapter. And specifically those warnings and describing our describing our future and the other life. All of these things are I believe that it's a heavy concept that we have to be connected it through our heart and look at it and think about it and believe in it that in this short time we have to make our decision and we have to choose in which side we want to be. So let me stop the recording, then we can listen to the chapter. Please open your Quran in front of you, look at